What's up, folks? Welcome back to another session on the grind. Today is a volume session, so we're working on hypertrophy in the 9 to 12 rep range for 5 sets. The goal of this session is to add a large amount of volume to our overall week at a slightly lower per rep intensity than our strength sessions. So the exercises we're working on today are the incline bench press, the dumbbell pullover, and the reverse bicep curl. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, drop those right in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe to follow future videos. And without further ado, let's get into the session. So first things first, let's get warmed up. As usual, I don't really like to belabor these things. I think you really just need to get the body warm, get the heart rate elevated slightly, and just practice pushing or pulling hard in a manner somewhat similar to what you're going to do for the actual working sets. So today I did 2 slow pull-ups with a bit of isometric pausing at the top and the middle, just to wake up the arms and the lats and the elbows. Then for pushing, I did 1 chest to wall handstand push-up. Then for the incline bench, I did 1 sort of warm-up set for that with 30 kilograms on the bar for just 8 reps. After that, I was feeling ready to work hard, so I moved on to the working sets. So we're all warmed up and we're ready for the first working exercise, the incline bench press. I'm doing this exercise as a bit of an accessory to the main goal that I'm working on right now, which is increasing my barbell overhead press. This one adds a bit of back support and changes the angle of the lift, making it a bit easier because you can use the upper chest a bit more. This should allow me to get a little bit of extra volume and a slightly different variation to complement that barbell overhead press. However, with that said, this is one that I'm being a little bit careful on because I have been experiencing a bit of pain in my right shoulder from the biceps tendon here, dealing with a little bit of tendinitis. So the form cue I'm doing right now is really focusing on keeping my shoulder set, tracted, and depressed throughout the reps. As such, I've dropped the intensity a tiny bit compared to, well, actually I haven't dropped the overall intensity, I've just progressed a bit more slowly from the previous session than I normally would. Honestly though, as I'm watching this footage, editing this video for you guys, the intensity looks a little bit lower than I would have liked on the first couple sets for this. I think I might have been being a bit too cautious. Normally I'm trying to work within the RPE 8-9 on these. In the first set, I feel like I'm probably closer to 6 on this one. It looks as if the last couple reps are still moving pretty quickly. My face looks as if it's hard, but the bar moves pretty quick, so I might have had a little bit more to give on this one. Luckily, I did make up for it in the end by doing a myo rep, and I'll link to the previous episode where I go into a bit more detail on how myo reps work. Anywho, this will be one thing to watch next time I'm doing this session to make sure that I'm really training close to failure in order to actually get the stimulus that I want. Next exercise is the dumbbell pullover. I've really been enjoying these exercises lately. The feeling is honestly quite unique, quite unlike any other pulling movement that I've ever tried. It's kind of like a front lever, but with an inverted strength curve, so it's most difficult in that stretched position at the very end and easiest up top, the opposite of a front lever, of course. The form cue I'm focusing on these is avoiding back arch to really ensure that I'm getting a proper weighted stretch in the lats. Of course, some back arch does occur, but focus is on trying to minimize it by flexing my abs. One thing I'm noticing with this exercise is that my performance actually drops quite a bit faster on this exercise than on other exercise. That is to say that when I start out with 32 kilograms for 10 reps, I have to drop the weight twice on sets 3 and 5 in order to stay in that rep range, that 9 to 12 rep range that I want to get sufficient volume. This is in contrast to other exercises where I might not have to drop the weight at all in order to keep up the form, or the incline press on this session where I had to drop the weight by just 2 kilograms. My theory is that this is because of the heavy triceps involvement in this. Though it is a pulling exercise, in some sense it sort of acts as a pushing exercise, and since I'm alternating my sets, one incline dumbbell bench press, one dumbbell pullover, back and forth, in order to save time from resting. I'm probably accumulating a bit more triceps fatigue than I am for any of the other muscles, which results in not being able to form as well in the last couple reps of each set on this exercise. But I'm not really sure. I'll have to wait to see a couple more sessions to see if this improves as time goes on, or if I need to tweak something in my program. But ultimately, I'm not really sure. Do you have any idea? If you have a theory, leave it in the comments below. Because of the high intensity of this and that I failed on sets 4 and 5, I didn't feel the need to do any myo reps at the end in order to increase the intensity. This is also quite a confidence building exercise because the point where you're most likely to fail is just about the part where you're about to clear your head and avoid having the dumbbell smash into your forehead. So you can see on both of these sets, I don't quite make it to that critical point and then I drop the weight back down. It's a bit spooky, but c'est la vie. And then we finish off this session with reverse bicep curls, the isolation exercise of the day. This one I'm working for 3 sets of 12 to 20 repetitions. These are a pretty awesome exercise that really works the forearms and specifically the brachioradialis. You'll probably notice that I'm using fat grips in order to improve the finger stimulus and the grip work. These are just common PVC pipes that I've put over the barbell, so very cheap, very easy to use. However, though each rep is a bit harder on the grip, it's pretty tricky to actually get very close to failure because the failure point would be the grip. And since you're holding it in this pronated position, there's a pretty big risk of just dropping the weight on the floor, which I don't really want to do. So we'll see, but I think in my next session, I might skip the fat grips on this exercise and just really focus on that mind-muscle forearm connection. So that was the volume session. Hope you enjoyed. I had a pretty good time and I'm feeling pretty sore from it. Next session, I'll be finally working on the heavy overhead press. Stay tuned for the next one and please subscribe to follow the journey. Take care, guys. Thanks.